So if you're looking for a deck that has a similar playstyle to Esper with Rafine, but has more interaction and a better mana base, you'll be looking at Dimir, which is a deck that can leverage, a bunch of creature lands, Marexus, since you only have two colors in your mana base, and you're able to kind of fill the gap with cards that are pretty powerful as well, with a card like Gix, for example, where when you connect with a creature, you're able to lose one life and draw a card, which allows you to really leverage more interactive spells because you're drawing a lot more. So you're able to play creatures and your removal consistently while hitting your land drops. Well, if you connect with the Hicks, but we also have the Kaito as well, which allows you to draw cards for just attacking simply. So this deck, with these two cards here, you're able to really play well with flyers specifically. So we've got the Siren, obviously, that's played in pretty much every blue creature deck, I would say. To some extent, this card is nuts. And Fairy Mastermind, obviously, Malcolm, which should be a Fairy Mastermind. I was testing it out, didn't feel that good. And most of the time, I felt like Mastermind would have just been more impactful because Rafine's running around, there's Beanstalk, and just those two cards alone cover a lot of the metagame. Also, Wedding Announcement you can draw off the Mastermind. So having that card that is just actually drawing you cards, I think is just more important in this deck than looting, and you're never getting the actual effect of Malcolm where you have to connect 4 times and then you get to cast spells for free. But that's a little bit too far away, and most people will interact with this 100% before you connect, or they'll have just flying blockers. Everybody's playing Siren, so imagine playing a Malcolm and then your opponent has a Siren on blocks. What are you gonna do? Remove it? Like, it's just kind of tough because you really just can't leverage this card very well. Instead, you'd rather have like a creature that has more static impact. So yeah, enough about Malcolm. Deep Cavern Bat, obviously everywhere. I'm gonna be honest. I actually think Standard would be better off if Cavern Bat was not in the format, because now every deck is playing Deep Cavern Bat, and now if you draw Deep Cavern Bat, you have a huge advantage over your opponents. It's kind of like, it's just, I feel like it's just whoever draws the more the most Deep Cavern Bats now, and that usually feels pretty bad as like a back and forth with your opponent. I don't know. I don't like it, but it's a cool card. It's fun to play with. I will say that, but maybe would be nice if everybody wasn't playing it. But okay. Anyways, you kind of have to. Then we have the obvious interaction that you have in black. You have a little bit more than the Rafine deck. You have 4 2-mana removal spells and then 3 of these, which is a lot. And you have a lot of counter spells as well, so you have way more interaction. And we also have Shield Red times 4. And the reason you have 4, obviously, is because 1, you have no lifelink, no Denic. So you need some sort of life gain. And this really is able to do that, right? With the Gix, you're connecting, you're drawing cards. Shield Red is getting you life. It's draining your opponent's Rafines as well. So it's also very important that not only is this getting you life, but against Rafine decks, since you have 4, you actually have an advantage over them in that aspect, because they're probably not playing 4. So when they attack, they're taking a bunch of damage. So there's also that as relevant. And you're trying to kind of bait out removal. That's another reason the bat is so good, is because usually you take removal, and to get it back, they have to destroy the bat. And that takes away a lot of like mana efficiency for your opponent. So then they might not have the removal spell left for Shield Red, which is pretty important. Now, if you're just looking at the sideboard, it's just whatever you think is in a Dimir sideboard is in here. Like, just straightforward, 2 sweepers, some hand interaction. You get the extra cut down because aggro decks can be a problem, and more spot removal on the 2-mana slot. Some exile as well, which is pretty important because this deck actually has no exile. Without white, it's hard to get some exile. So you play what you can get. Anoint is pretty good though. I've got 2 Tidebinders. This card has been impressive every time. Like, I don't know, I've been really impressed by this. This card has overperformed in every single way, I think. So you kind of want to play that in every blue deck pretty much, yeah, to some extent. We've got the One Preacher. This is one of my favorite cards from the set. I think this card is really cool and really good, really solid. I think this card is really solid. And it comes into play mostly when you need that extra toughness. And I think that's one thing that this deck might struggle with a little bit is early game. You're not very effective on blocks. 1, because there's only 2 copies of Schooner. And 2, because Gix is not a good blocker. Your Flyers are not going to be blocking. Your Bat's definitely not going to be blocking. So you don't have a solid blocker until potentially you play, Shield Red on the board. So having that extra card, I don't own more copies of Preacher, but If I did, I would actually try a deck with like 2-3 creatures. I feel like this card is just like 2-4 stats is so good, and it allows you to, block schooners. It's just it attacks into pretty much everything. It's so the effect is just really solid. I don't know. I love this card so much. Essentially, I'm just gushing about it. But yeah, if I had more, I would probably play another one instead of the command probably. But command is nice. I do think you do want. Actually, you do want the command. Never mind. I don't know what. I would have to rework the deck. Anyways, just ignore me. Gix's command is pretty much. I think it's necessary. You want at least one Gix's command in like any black mid range deck. Uh, it's just too good. It gives you so much flexibility. It can help you make comebacks. It can help you push your advantage, card advantage, blah blah blah. Like there's a lot going on with Gix's command. You probably should at least include one in your black deck. So, yep. Anyways, I'm gonna leave you with that. Yeah, at least have some form of card advantage, unlike the other games. Not Esper. Well, it's been 2 matches in a row, Shazzy, so I don't know. Okay, I'm already screwed here. I mean, not really. I guess I can counter into bat. Not much of a choice, really. Please land. Like you have there's so many things I don't like about this deck. There's no comeback factor. Your early pressure is a little bit better than Esper, but barely. And once you have nothing, you're just done. Like once you have no board, it's just over. If your opponent's board as well. May not attack with the Fairy Mastermind to stop 4/4 from coming down. Probably not. Let's play Shield Red soon. Hopefully I draw land. This is also why I said Mirex might be too greedy ×4. Alright, I have to cast Shield Red and pray. That's my last play, really. Okay, well, that's just game. Perfect draw is what I mean. Meanwhile,
I know something you don't know.
I don't get it. Am I just unlucky? I don't understand. It feels horrible. Am I unlucky? At this point, my mind is fucked right now. I don't know. I actually don't know. I don't understand. Like I'm actually confused. I don't know if the deck is bad or I'm really unlucky. And if I'm really unlucky, when do I get lucky, you know? Like when does that happen? How much do I have to wait? I think on the play, negate is probably whatever. I could probably cut duress, honestly. Okay, if I lose with this, the deck is bad. I don't care. I'm so triggered.
No secret is safe. Now, what do we have here?
Alright, this is looking good. Hopefully.
Thanks. I'll be taking that now.
Kind of want to make the unblockable now instead of drawing. Don't need the card, need the damage.
Our eyes are everywhere.
Oh, that's cool. Oh yeah, I'm gonna cut Malcolm, I think. It's gotta be worse than Mastermind. Probably could have
On the inside.
done that, but I don't see a point. Like I just have the game locked. I shouldn't even show that.
I'm hungry.
You can just hide info. That doesn't really make sense because if I have make disappear, you lose, and if I don't have make disappear, you also lose. And if I have another counter spell, so you might as well go for the no counter spell, which would be kicking it. Wish I had Lily. Oh, it's tough because I put Lily in the sideboard, I took it out. Maybe I do cut Kix's command. Eh. I think Duress has to. I think I can't cut Duress. It's pretty good. I wonder if I cut Annoyance just because it only hits one thing. But what am I boarding in for it? Build it, I guess. That might be okay. Or Gix's command. I mean, the thing is, I do want to remove this if it's on the field. And isn't that the best thing they could draw? And then I need a removal spell for Archangel. I guess I counter Archangel. Okay, that kind of makes sense. Kind of makes sense. Okay, so when you get a good hand with this deck against Ramp, which I guess is the easiest matchup, unfortunately, so this doesn't even tell me that much because this matchup is very favorable for me. Like, I want to face Esper again and see like how bad it really is because it felt horrible. Again with the land draws, it's so rough. I think you can't play 26 actually. I'm not sure. That sucks. Okay, that's not too bad. Alright, that's not too bad. Good spot, good spot. I don't think I duress. Actually, I was thinking about what if they draw binding, but I need to counter binding, so they can draw a card, but I can't really. Yeah, whatever. Hey, Grixis leader. Oh wait, you can counter any triggered ability with that. Okay. So could I have countered the? Wait, there was a moment where I was like, I can't counter because it's not. Oh wait, never mind. No, no, never mind. Now this is kind of interesting because Archangel is devastating in this position, so I almost want to keep make this beer. I think I have to. It's really bad against binding, but I guess worst case I have to play that. Right? Can I afford to pass? I guess I can. But how long can I realistically extend this game before I need to do something impactful? I took a Sunfall already. They had 2 draws for Sunfall exactly. What if they find Binding? I mean, I can't protect the shield anyways. Don't think I'm winning this game by just Rexing because this screws me. I think I have to play it. Alright, well, they need Sunfall basically. That's fine. Now they need Binding. Didn't get it? Okay, good. Alright. Can breathe. I would have definitely lost the game if I didn't play that. Is duressing worth it here? Most likely it does nothing, but do I need both of these up? Say they go binding into binding, that is pretty bad, yeah. Hmm. Like waiting one turn does get more, this does get more value, but I think I just win the game if they, yeah, okay. Oh, sure. Okay. I think I just win the game if they just draw a bunch of cards anyways, so. Oh, but if I, haha, tricky, huh? If I remove the text, they can just block anyways, so it's actually just irrelevant. I don't really care, they can't block the shield, right? So might as well make a token to get better value out of this. Alright, so they're going for Sunfall, which won't work now. Alright, so I did manage to beat this, but wasn't the easiest thing ever, I guess. I had to take a risk, and if this gets removed, the game is probably kind of dead, actually. I don't know. Like, that's one reason to not cut Shieldred. But, like, what do you play? What do you remove for Shieldred? Because it's so, like, a 4-drop in a matchup where you need to hold up counter magic is not good. I don't know. I think Lily would help a lot. Because that way I have removal and discard as well. Like, the rest might be wrong.
Don't forget to click the subscribe button as well as the notification bell if you want to keep up with my future uploads. Anyways, back to the gameplay.
A set lives for 3 years in standard now. Yeah. That was obviously a bad decision. Anyways. Whatever. I'm curious to see the numbers though. Did it actually revitalize standard in game stores? I don't know. Maybe. I hope that was the right decision, because otherwise just made the game worse for no reason, pretty much. I'm drawing so many lands with this deck. Another ramp deck. I mean, I'm okay with it because it's a good matchup, but oh, another land. Somebody save me. Yeah, it's an interesting topic, but I've already talked about it a lot, so. I think most people who want to enjoy the game and aren't really like the people who the game store thing doesn't affect, those people probably wanted rotation. But I've heard the people, even the people who, this would affect positively for the local game stores, they also, well, the people I've heard from also don't like the 3-year rotation, but I don't know. It might be a little bit of an echo chamber since that's the type of audience I have. I mean, we can talk about it. If you have something interesting to say, we can discuss it again, but I feel like the topic is like pretty simple to break down. It's either it worked or it didn't work.
There's no secret I can't uncover.
And if it didn't work, I think they would they be willing to revert it? I'm not actually sure about that. Would they be willing to say like this was a mistake, we're reverting it? I don't know. Not sure. So if I attack with the reef and they remove the reef, which they probably can't, right? Because binding doesn't hit the reef. But like the problem is I'm drawing with Kaito. I don't think it's worth, because if they remove this, which is the worst case scenario, then I draw with Kaito. I can't potentially counter. Oh wait, attract. Oh wait, I was gonna say I can't counter Atraxa, but this is not Atraxa. Oh, I was wondering like why are they not playing? Oh whatever. Anyways, kind of forgot to cut this card. It's not a huge deal. Like I have a really good play on their turn.
Juicy secret.
If I didn't have Mastermind, I would always attack with the reef. But the good thing is like I'm not in a rush to activate the reef, right? Unless Atraxa comes down. Okay. Do I want to activate that? Grab a Cavern Bat. There shouldn't be any removal here, but I don't think there's any. I think even if you don't know if there's removal there, like no, even if you know there's removal there, which you can't really on ladder, like they could be playing Go for the Throat. I think that's still not the right play because I have Bat into Shield Red, which will win the game either way. Like whether the attracts are not there, I win the game with the Bat Shield Red. So, but I just win next turn. So it's probably just incorrect, but I'm gonna be confident. Most lists, if they play Go for those, like one copy, and they didn't have it earlier, so I don't know. It probably was a mistake still, but get the game over with. All right, so I still have the same question about duress. I do have an extra stroke now. It's annoying I can't click on the card sometimes. To cut shielded or not to cut, like it's so difficult to figure out if you have to cut shield. I think on the draw you always do though, almost like maybe not entirely. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, schooner. Okay, this is what I did last time. Oh yeah, just do this. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna try this again. I'm gonna try it just like I did last time. I do need to cut Malcolm. I think it's just bad. And that way I'll have 3 Fairy Masterminds. And that will be better against Beanstalk, which is kind of the thing that could bring them back into the game. That's my only worry in this matchup, is that I can't really go 1-for-1 if they have Beanstalks. But I wouldn't need to do that necessarily. I mean, it's still hard even with Fairy Mastermind. Oh, the 4 Murex. I do think we have to go down to 3 Murex. I think it's so greedy to play 4. This seems like a not a keep, and it's like an hmm. Hmm. I mean, this can work, and I do have duress, and I'm on the draw. Do I just go aggressive? I don't know if I can. If they keep 7 and I go to 5, I think I always lose the game, right? Unless I hit the nuts. If I go to 5 and hit the nuts, it's probably worth. If I hit a medium hand, or like even if it's better than this, how much better really is it? I guess Siren, drawing a land. Yeah, I'll mulligan, I think. Alright, well, that's probably, yeah, that could be better. This could work. I don't know. We'll see. All the hands were pretty bad. This one has like some potential of stabilizing me or like snowballing the game. Okay, that's good. Depending on what they have. Okay, that's really good. All right. The mulligan was correct. I do think it was correct. Like in my when I was evaluating the mulligan, because there's Siren and because there's Gix and Kaito, those 3 cards can bring me back from a mulligan that's disastrous, so I think potentially digging for those and just having something to do early is probably worth. That's probably the best mulligan to 5. I don't think Swamp is the best mulligan to 5 I could ask for. I think the best mulligan to 5 is either dual color land and Siren and then Bat maybe. And like well, I needed one of these. I needed Gix, Siren, or Kaito. Specifically Gix and Kaito. But the 2 Swamp is a little bit risky, I think. Because a lot of my deck is just single blue. So if I just don't draw blue, even though I might have the Gix, I might just never be able to cast my blue spells. But it was a good mulligan to 5. As long as I find a land or specifically blue source. But I agree, it is really good. This is definitely like above average mulligan to 5, I think, for sure. Still has some risk attached to it, but definitely better than both the other hands. There's always some risk. I mean, you're already taking a mulligan to 5. Theoretically, you shouldn't be winning the game anyway, so you have to take more risks. It's just how it's gonna be. It's actually so funny that you can't really counter that. Because otherwise it can block. Yeah, this worked out perfectly. I just drew blue, and then now I have a bunch of stuff. But like, imagine they answer my Gix, which they should post board, right? That's the thing. So many things could have gone wrong, but they didn't.